Welcome to the songwriting portion of the UNB Music Camp. I'm your instructor, Charlie Harding, and I'm excited for us to all write some cool tunes. This three-part video series is going to break down the fundamentals of songwriting as a whole, and this includes generating ideas, writing lyrics, learning how to get inspired, also learning how to be an artist in the COVID era. We'll be talking about formal song structure like chords and melody and rhythms. We'll also be talking about some very important stuff like equipment that you might need to form a home studio, or promoting yourself after your songs have been completed and you're ready to take the next step. So to begin, I'll share a little bit about myself. So I was born in Fredericton, New Brunswick, and I grew up there and lived there for many years. And then I moved to Montreal, and this is where I currently live. I go to Concordia University, and I study electroacoustic music and the practice of creating experimental electronic music. I also am studying computer science and math, and I try to blend all those things together to create cool, interesting new experimental sounds that people haven't heard before. Songwriting has always been a huge passion in my life. It's been something that's been consistent for as long as I can remember, through middle school, high school, and then into my adult life. One of the things I like most about songwriting specifically is that it's such a beautiful conveyance of so many of your ideas, whether they're in the form of words or emotions. And you can take all of these things that you want to put into this song and organically blend it all together into a piece of music that is unique and is yours, and you can just put it out into the world and have your expression just be out there for people to hear. And I find that to be a very beautiful process, and it drives me to write music every day. Well, that's enough about me, and now let's get into the video. Today we will be talking about ideas and mindset. Woohoo! Da, 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 da. Ideas. So, one of the most important aspects of songwriting is trying to figure out what inspires you. What are you going to write about? And why are you writing music in the first place? And so you can ask yourself these questions and try to figure out some motivation for doing this. Have you recently fallen in love? Or are you sad about something? Or are you really inspired about something that you see happening in the world? And so you can take these ideas and pull them together and use this as a kind of kindling to light the songwriting fire in your soul. So I think sometimes a technique that I use to come up with an idea or a motivation for writing a song is I will take a piece of paper and I will look up cool words and words that kind of give me chills or butterflies or something, or words that are just interesting and cool, like space words or words about health or science or these kinds of things. You can just open a thesaurus and look up words and write them down, and these could even be the titles of your songs, or they could lead at least to some kind of generation of ideas in your head, something that's organic. The biggest thing is to just search for your own process for generating these ideas. You know, this technique is the way that I do it, but you may find that this doesn't work for you, but something else might. And so part of the songwriting process is constantly trying to figure out what your creative process is going to be from start until finish. Figuring out ways to easily come up with thematic ideas for the kinds of music that you want to make will help you directly throughout the entire songwriting process. And one of the ways that it can help you quite a bit is when you decide to start generating lyrics. Now, an important part of lyrics is that it can take any point in this step-by-step process of creating music. It can be at the beginning, it can be at the very end, it could be right in the middle. It really doesn't matter. It's the way that you feel about it. Some people like to write their lyrics first, and then make the music based on that. But I personally will write my lyrics afterwards to fit them in along with the melody into the music that I make. Some people choose to not include any words or lyrics or singing in their music at all, and that's completely fine because the music itself can still convey really important meaning, and sometimes really subtle or complex ideas can come through the way that music moves. For those who do want to write lyrics, though, I took the time to come up with a little acronym that can help with blending the processes of idea generation and lyric writing. And the acronym goes, let your rad ideas create songs. Lyric writing can be a very lovely and beautiful part of making music, as you have so many choices. You can decide to put your ideas across through very few words throughout an entire song, or you can decide to be more wordy and tell long stories that are full of detail and experience in these things. You can decide with the types of words that you choose to be cryptic and imaginative and weird, and you also have the decision to be very literal and to tell actual stories like folk music and these kinds of things. So getting to play around with the way that you're going to put your ideas into the music and out to the world is a very exciting part of these steps in songwriting. A really important part of this songwriting experience is to come up with a creative process that works for you and that you enjoy. It's so important when writing lyrics to find ways to get inspired and to get those creative juices flowing. Some of the ways that you could do this are to read poetry books and to get inspired by the writing in those, or to maybe listen to other artists and what they do and decide to take on a bit of that part of them into your own process. Or you could get inspired by movies or real world events, and you could even just brainstorm a bunch of words into a notepad and write it down. Or you could be like me and just sing a bunch of random words into the microphone over the track that you've recorded, and then later listen to it and apply words to it and connect the meanings so that you can put that into the song re-recorded later. And it's good. But again, the important part is to find this thing that makes lyric writing easier for you so that you can put all of your energy distributed across the whole songwriting process. When it comes to songwriting in general, I think it's very important to find ways to be experimental, to be unique, and to put all the things that you love into these sounds that you make. You can do all sorts of wacky things. You can write really weird and interesting lyrics, or you can do crazy sounds on your instruments, or just take field recordings and put them into your songs, or just find ways to shake it up a little bit. And this is going to be a way that you set your songs apart from other music that's been created before, and to really make it your own and make it unique. And people will appreciate that. And by far, one of the most important things that I could express in this particular video is the idea that you should never overthink it. You should make sure that you just keep pushing forward and don't put yourself down. Really just try to get it done, and take pride in the weird things that you do to your music, and put it out there and let people hear it, because it's very possible, and I know this from experience, that sometimes the things that you make will always sound terrible to you, or you'll feel as though they're not good enough. This is wrong. People will love what you do. And so when you are making something and you experience that moment of self-doubt that so many artists feel, just remember, you're overthinking it, and you should just keep going and finish this piece of music and put it out. Thank you so much for watching this video on songwriting, ideas, and mindset. I'm really excited to see what you make. You're a beautiful songwriter, and I think you can make some amazing things. The next video will be on some more practical ideas. We'll be talking about song structure, melody, rhythm, chords, these kinds of things. So until then, happy songwriting, and I'll talk to you soon.